I love book hauls, so come with me to the bookshop, baby. I love book hauls, so come with me and buy me a book. Wow, I think that was the worst song adaptation to books that I've ever done on this channel. So yeah, welcome. That's going to be the quality of the rest of the video today. So I decided to take my jacket off since, this is a way better pajama design than the one that I was using my jacket with. And when we are doing book hauls, the pajama thing is essential because it's all about the cozy, the comfort, and the loving, which is the book part of the situation. So let's get into it. So first of all, I want to talk about a free comic that I got for purchase of another comic. And this was especially kept for me and is Enter the House of Slaughter. This has a similar design to something that you've seen on this channel for a while, and that is Something is Killing the Children. So what is Enter the House of Slaughter? I don't know, because I haven't read it yet, But as Something is Killing the Children, this is by James Tynion IV and Werder Deladera, Mica Muerto, and World Design. This is the lettering. So yeah, this is supposed to be like a snippet of a new series that these creators of Something is Killing the Children are doing, and this is supposed to be like the first snippet of what is going to be a series. Actually, I have stopped the end of this, and it says House of Slaughter, October 2021, so this is supposed to come out. This is the beautiful sticker of my comic book store focus. It says Mundo Fantasma, which means Ghost World in Portuguese, and yeah, it's an awesome store. If you're from Portugal, contact them. But Enter the House of Slaughter appears to be sort of a prequel to what happens in Something is Killing the Children, I think. More about the actual House of Slaughter, which our main character supposedly comes from. I don't know a lot about this because I've only read what is out of Something is Killing the Children, and that arc is closed, and now we are going to know more about the before, apparently. And I'm excited. Oh, okay. I really liked Something is Killing the Children, and I think that this is going to be a nice snippet of what is going on the backstage of the organization. So Something is Killing the Children is set in this world, like an indie sort of horror game world in which monsters are real. They exist and they can only be seen by children and then feed on those children. And so there's an organization set to stop them. However, they're a bit shady, and the House of Slaughter is part of that organization. That's all I have to say. Then I hope this is not too bright, but we have RWBY Justice League issue 6 and RWBY Justice League issue 7, which I would say it's the ending of this short series, I think. And I was perusing this and I can't find the whole names of who wrote and did stuff, so I'm just going to tell you that this is by Bennett and Hi-Fi, and then a lot of people that just get into the stories and just do it. It's supposed to be a crossover between RWBY, the animation. If you've never seen the animation, it's on Rooster Teeth. It's amazing. I love the animation, and I'm collecting everything that it's RWBY for a while. I have mangas, I have comics, I have Funko Pops. It's insane. I love them. And Justice League, which we all know what Justice League is. So yeah, I don't know, I haven't started reading this because I was waiting to have more issues, but I think it is now done, so I can pick it up and read it. This is by DC and Rooster Teeth. As you can see, this is the symbol of Rooster Teeth. I do recommend getting to know RWBY. They're basically a group of magical girls, but that are huntresses of the monsters of Grimm. So they're fighters, and they all have their specific weapons, and the trope of the magical girl just gets turned on its head, and it's so fucking awesome. And it has like schools and it has a magic system, and it's pretty great. I really love it. I am dying to get the new season of the animation. I don't know when it's coming out, and it's so sad, but yeah, I can start this now, I think. Then we have the very known, the Joker. Issue 8? Yeah, issue 8. There's been 8 issues of the Joker. I cannot say I hate this cover. I like it. I really like it. So, issue 8. So, as pretty much all of you guys that have been on this channel for a while know, this is also written by James Tynion IV, and the artist is Guilherme March, which I love, and Arif Prianto does the coloring, Tom Napolitano the letters. We love it, and I have just spoiled myself for the last page of the comic. But it's okay, because I don't know the context, and I loved it. But The Joker is a new series that is coming out about sort of the Joker, but not really, because it's really about Commissioner Gordon and his ways of dealing with the Joker and what he represents to him as a trauma, and also as his ideals of law and what he wants to enforce in Gotham. And the way that the Joker is seen on these comics is like a not that crazy, but also completely batshit insane, but as someone that is highly conscious of what he's doing, and he has a purpose for it. There's a speech in here where he states his purpose. I loved it. I like this viewing of the Joker. He's still bad, he's still insane, there's still something there that you know it's not quite right. However, he's sane enough to be conscious of what he's doing and why he's doing. There's a motivation there. So, it's not just for the sake of being a highly functioning villain. So yeah, I'm enjoying this very much. The backstory of this is that supposedly the Joker did something to Arkham Asylum, and a lot of villains and villains' families died, and so prominent families are getting to the Joker and want to murder the Joker as a way of payback. However, he states that he's not to blame and there's a bigger conspiracy behind this. And the thing is, do we believe him? Do we want to help him? Do we not? Are we on the side of the law or are we not? So we are Gordon, and this is a sort of a noir thingy. I love it. I haven't read this one yet. At the time of filming this, which is at the beginning of the month of November, so we have still the whole month to go to actually read this, but let's hope we do. Then for some mangas, I have, these first two are from the same series, so I'm gonna present them together. I love the covers of these. It also gives the noir vibe of the thing, but with a twist, and I love it. So it's The Witch and the Beast, volumes 4 and 5, and this is by Kosuke Satake. And look at these fucking covers. Like, yes. I have volume 1 right there, and I have volume 2 yet to be read, and volume 3 also, but they're so beautiful. This is a story about these two people. They are investigators of this sort of magical agency, let's just say, that hunts witches. In this world, witches are evil. They just put curses on people, and they're really, really bad. And so because of that, they are hunted, and they are destitute of their powers or even killed. And our main characters have a feud to settle with these witches, and one of them is sort of a magician, which is our dude, and the other one is a berserker monster girl. You can see why I like this series already. But apart from that, the art style of this is really detailed. It's really detailed and beautiful, and there's a lot more emotional things going on in here than you would previously think with this approach. So it's not a typical shonen thing. And I like it. I really like it. I read the first one and really enjoy it, and now I have through 5 to read. Which, yes, let's do it. Please read manga. Then another common one on this channel is The Ancient Magus Bride. This is volume 15, and this is by Kore Yamazaki, and this is part of the second arc of The Ancient Magus Bride. I've read the first arc, I finished it, and I am up to date with the volumes of the second arc, except this one. It's being a little bit difficult for me because I'm reading a lot of stuff in between of the releases of The Ancient Magus Bride, and so sometimes it kind of skips my mind of where we are, but I was already reminded where we are when I read the back of this. So this second arc is set in a magical school. This is a magical world where there's magus and alchemists. Magus are those people that are one with nature and practice actual magic, and alchemists are like the scientists of the thing. They take energy from the nature, so they're not in harmony with it, and they practice alchemy, which is different from magic. And our main girl, Chize, in the first arc of this, she is bought by Elias, our other main character who is a magus, because she is magic and she's like selling herself because her life is trash and she's fed up with her life. And Elias buys her because he knows that she has magical powers. And so he buys her to teach her how to be a magus, but also to be his bride, because he is confused about the way humans kind of interact with one another. And so he wants a bride to understand that, which might sound terrible and toxic, but it really is not, because throughout the series, this is a series that teaches you about your self-worth, that teaches you about relationships and how society works and humanity works. And through the series, Elias and Chize learn a lot about each other and themselves. And it's beautiful because you start with a very depressive protagonist that hates herself and has a lot of self-loathing and thinks that she's worthless and that if she dies, that's okay. And she learns that she's loved and that she should have the need for herself to be more than despising herself, if you know what I mean. And so it's really beautiful. And at this time, she's now in a college with other alchemists and she's trying to learn alchemy and they're trying to learn Hamagu's ways. And it's interesting, it's nice, and I really like it because in the end, it's about humanity and relationships and how to build them up from the ground, I think. And so it's pretty, it's beautiful, and I love her relationship with Elias, I do. I have a kick for monsters. And this one, I've been waiting for this one, God knows how long. If you've been on this channel for a while now, you would know that one of my favorite, if not favorite, manga series in the entirety of the universe is Magus of the Library. And volume 4 has just been released. I could cry of happiness. I love this series. I read the first 3 volumes. I made a video about that. I'm going to leave it linked somewhere. And now I have the 4th one to read, which I'm going to do the second I put this down and I finish this video. This is by Mito Izumi, and this is basically a story of this little kid. He loves books and he fights like hell to actually learn to read, to know books, to treat them right, and he is on a journey to become a magus of the Great Library, which is kind of supposed to be the Library of Alexandria, and it's where people take care of books, go fetch rare editions. The magus are people that just travel around the world and search rare editions of books, that conserve books that are thought lost, and that treat the books right and are like really special people. And our little boy, Theo, wants to be one of them. And it's his journey. And through this is a story about the love of writing, the love of reading, the love of books. And more than that, it's a story about building your own story, even when you think you're not the main character of the story. And there were so many things in the first 3 mangas that spoke to me, that made me cry, that made me laugh, that made me feel nostalgic of when I learned to read, when I learned that I want to be surrounded by books my entire life, that I absolutely love this. And I think that if you love to read and you've never read any manga ever and you don't want to read it, you should at least read Magus of the Library. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and this is not a review. I have not even read this. I don't know if this is good, but this is the beginning of kind of a second arc for the Magus of the Library series, and I cannot wait. I know there's more. The art style of this is also fucking beautiful. It's like the details. There's double pages. I'm trying to find the details, the beauty. I can't. And there's more to this story. If you like magic, if you like quests, if you like other stuff, there's more. There's about that as well. But in the end, it's just about the love of stories and how we grow into our own story. So it's perfection. And then we have what might be my second favorite manga series. We don't know. But it's Witch Hat Atelier Volume 2, which thank the Lord, because these volumes are getting so fucking hard to find. And I read the first one, which you can see here, it's there. I read the first one, absolutely loved it. And then I was like, okay, so the second one. And in the comic book store, they told me, yeah, no, you can't, we can't get it. And I was like, excuse me, what? We can only get 4, 5, and 6. And I was like, what? Huh? The tears were streaming down my face. But finally, it came a new batch. And yes. So this is by Kamome Shirahama, sorry. And wow, this is basically about our little protagonist, Coco. She is a little girl, just a poor little girl, and she knows how to draw and sew, and she basically wants to be a witch. However, in this world, supposedly, you cannot be a witch because you have to be born with the gift for magic. However, when something really drastic happens to our mom, and a magus, or a magician, or a witch appears in her doorstep, she finds out that it might not be that black and white. And oh my god, the art style of this is like, it's gorgeous. It has a brief steampunk vibe to it, and it's just also beautiful and glorious, and I love it. And the art style plus the story, which is again a story about finding yourself in your own story and working hard to get where you want to be, which, I mean, it sings to my heart. It's beautiful, and if you can get your hands on this one actually a prize, I think. I think this won a prize for best manga. I don't know if it was this year or last year or something, but it is well deserved. I only read one, but I mean, it's fucking well deserved, and I want to keep going because the cliffhanger that the first one stopped in, Jesus! So we want to know more. And I don't want to spoil it because getting into this without knowing shit is amazing. It's great. We love magic. We love stories. And The Apprentice in a Witch Hat Atelier. The fucking cutest things in the fucking world. And the magic system of this, amazing. It's by drawings and stuff. It has all to do with art, and it's just, I love it. I love it really so much. Pretending we are still on the same day, we have another comic issue on this haul, which is issue 3 of The Me You Love in the Dark. And this is by Image Comics, and it's by Scotty Young, George Corona, Jean-Francois Belwy, and Nate Picos. And all of these covers are beautiful, and this is kind of feels like a Hunting of Hill House sort of gothic story, horror-ish kind of comic series. I don't know, I haven't started it, but I'm really hyped to do so since it looks beautiful. And the inside, the artwork is beautiful as well. It doesn't look like it's heavy on narration or dialogue, it's just very ambient sort of thing. So I'm very excited to pick this one up. Then we have another manga, and this one is called Tropic of the Sea, and this is by Satoshi Kon, and this, from what I gather, is a one-shot volume manga, which is not that common, and we enjoy because we are sick and tired of having to buy a 20-volume series, but nice. So I'm just going to read the back since I'm not really sure what this one is about. This is by Vertical. And it says, Yosuke Yashiro's family has a strange, unique tradition. Once every 60 years, they receive an egg from a mermaid where it sits protected in a shrine. Once the egg matures, the family dutifully returns it to the sea, where the whole process is repeated. In exchange for this favor, the mer people bless their coastal town with bountiful catches of fish and calm seas. But as commercial developers encroach on the sleepy seaside hamlet, and Yosuke's father is lured away from tradition towards modern prosperity and turns the mermaid's egg into a tourist trap, what will happen to the promise their family made to the mermaids all those years ago? Created by the late anime giant Satoshi Kon, Tropic of the Sea is a subtle, engaging work that blends realism with mythology and creates a fresh take on modern-day development and environmentalism. So, of course, this has to do with how we take what is not ours from nature and how we treat it with disrespect when we should respect the changes and the trades we do with nature. It sounds cool. The art style of this, it looks kind of ancient manga style, but it's sort of pretty. It's different from the usual. It's not very manga-ish, but I enjoy it, and it might be a nice manga to read. We will see. If I do like it, I will try and review it for you. Then we have a book that it's heavier on my hands than it's supposed to be, since it's only... Oh no, it has 600 and something pages. No, but this is the glossary. It's 589 pages? How many pages is this? Yeah, no, this is still glossary. It's 564 pages. So yeah, it shouldn't be this heavy, but this edition is really heavy. And that is Dune by Frank Herbert, with a preface by Brian Herbert, which I don't know if it's his son or something. We don't know. But Dune, we all know what Dune is. The movie just came out. I went to see the movie. I've actually watched the previous movie, but I don't remember a lot of it. And I remember that it sounded extremely confusing, and when I watched it, I couldn't be sure of what I was watching. And now when I watched the recent one, I just had a kick of reading the book because it sounded amazing. Of course, it does sound like it has some problematic with the white savior trope and everything. However, I do believe that since Frank Herbert supposedly was a journalist, I think that was his main point, to actually raise that question and raise the problem that people are colonizing other people. So I don't think that that was done insensitively, or at least it wasn't supposed to be done, but as something that was calling out to society of what was going on. But Dune is basically this epic sci-fi sort of fantasy kind of thing, where this specific house, which is House Atreides, I think that's how you tell it, is going to colonize a place where desert people live. And that place is filled with spice, which they capture for their own use. So it's kind of obviously colonization. However, there's deeper politic wars going on about that, and it's set in space. And I mean, I'm gonna read it and see if I enjoy this. I've heard a lot of people enjoying the book. I've heard also a lot of people saying that it's not that great and they prefer to watch the movies. I don't know, I want to form an opinion by myself, and I understood that the first movie, this movie that came out with Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya and everything, was like part 1 of this book. So I might read it before part 2 comes out so that I get a grasp on the story and actually see if what they're doing is a nice adaptation, which I love the first part of the movie. Not sure what I'm going to think when I read this, but I think I'm still going to love it. I don't know. And then we have a gorgeous book that was on Black Friday sales. And this is by an author that I can't pronounce his name. So the next book, and I don't know if it's the final book, but the next book that we have here is The Rules of Civility by Immortalis, I think. This dude. Right here. Yeah. First of all, I want to bring your attention to the fact that this is a hardcover. Yes, we love it. And the fact that this is beautiful. It is a very sort of Great Gatsby-ish kind of cover. It's amazing. It's the Portuguese edition of this. And I have never been so happy to get a Portuguese edition, honestly. And it says... Well, this person in question, this author, is known by writing A Gentleman in Moscow. I think this is how it's called. I haven't read that one, but this is his first book, The Rules of Civility. And it says that, I'm going to try and translate from Portuguese, so it says that in the last night of 1937, Katie is in a jazz club in Greenwich Village, and she has $3 in her wallet, and she is committed that they will be there until dawn. But she doesn't have to be that committed, because in the next table is Tinker, which is a young banker, and they meet, and this meeting in that night is going to define Katie's life, apparently. She is a daughter of Russian immigrants, and she is surviving like hardly in Brooklyn. And there she's going to say goodbye to the past, apparently, and she will start to social climb, which I have a feeling that that is not going to go as well as it sounds. And it says, Rules of Civility is a nostalgic revisitation of New York 30 New York. Okay, I can't translate on the spot. A city recovering from Great Depression with champagne, parties, and cocktails. It's narrated in flashback by a protagonist that remembers decades later her first youth love. And if I know something about me, is that first I love things that mainly sound like The Great Gatsby, because it's one of my favorite classics of all time. And the cover, the vibe, the parties, the thing, it kind of sounds like that. Second of all, I know for a fact that I love narrations that are people just flashbacking about their lives. I'm a sucker for that shit. I love it. And telling someone, even, it's awesome. And I don't know, just the setting of this, the apparent background of this, I don't know. I want to know more about this. It kind of looks like Immortales is someone that writes from Russian history perspective. A Gentleman in Moscow is about Russia. Rules of Civility appears to be about Russian immigrants, and Russia is a place that I don't know a lot of, and I would like to know more because I've always been curious of it. So I don't know, it's just, it looks amazing. And it says it's the first work of Immortales, who would then proceed to write A Gentleman in Moscow, and reveals an author born in maturity, in stylistic maturity. We find a beautiful writing, elegant, and an evocation of the golden epoch, a city and a woman that reinvent themselves in a time of promises. And I mean, it sounds beautiful, and I have been wanting to reread The Great Gatsby for a while, and maybe I do, and then I'll read this just to feel something. So yeah, I love it. That's all the books, mangas, comics, stuffy that I got for the month of November. Yeah, so that's going to be all for today. If you've read any of these, like any of these, want to read any of these, you know the drill. Tell me something in the comments down below. And that's going to be all for today. So happy readings to you all, and expect, I hope, a magical book haul around Christmas, we hope, because that's why we like book haul season time. I don't know. So yeah, that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye!